you announced that the border will be open on July 10 to everybody except Victorians. Up until then, you've chosen health over wealth. Do you run the risk now of undoing that work if it all goes pear-shaped?
Look, we're very happy with the way that Queensland has been performing. I've just got in today again 0 new cases. That's just been relayed to me. So you're the first that I've told, which is wonderful. And Queenslanders have done a great job in flattening the curve. That has meant we've been able to move forward stage 3 restrictions to this Friday, the easing of restrictions. That's worth around an extra $500 million a month to Queensland, up to 50,000 jobs. And of course that means the easing of restrictions is more people can go into our clubs, our cafes, our restaurants, more people into stadiums, people can have more people around to their homes. And of course, come July 10, people from around Australia, except Victoria, Victoria local government areas, will be allowed into Queensland. They have to fill out a border declaration. I don't think there's a problem with that. I think South Australia is doing something very similar, I've heard today, that we announced yesterday, and that is to reassure us that they have not been to Victoria in the past 14 days. We've had to take these tough measures, but in terms of Queensland opening up to Queenslanders, we've done that through June. That was always our intention, and now July, we move towards opening Queensland up to other states and territories.
But that decision to keep the border closed, it has cost the state billions. It's cost a lot of businesses their livelihoods. And the critics, as you know, Premier, have lined up. But is that something that you are just going to have to wear?
We said very clearly in our roadmap that stage 2 was opening Queensland up for Queenslanders. Even in the federal government's roadmap, stage 3 is looking at interstate leisure travel. So I'm not out of kilter here with what the federal government was saying. And what we have done is we have actually brought forward our easing of restrictions in Queensland, stage 3, earlier. That is a good thing for businesses. It's something they have been asking for. And now I encourage people from around Australia, except Victoria, to think about booking a interstate leisure holiday, which is part of stage 3, which has always been part of stage 3, commencing in July 10. We put our roadmap out several months ago. You only have to have a look at it, and we have followed that roadmap.
But despite all of that, do you accept that businesses will still fold, particularly in the tourism sector?
I accept that businesses are hurting across this nation. I accept that. And what we are doing very clearly is giving businesses now the opportunity to open up to more people. Honestly, you only have to look at what's happening in other parts of the world. We are very blessed to be living in Australia and very blessed to be living in Queensland. So I think, as I said to you, $500 million a month in added revenue for the Queensland economy is good news with the easing of stage 3 restrictions.
But businesses will still fold.
Agreed. Well, let me say this. The National Cabinet agreed on a stage 3 easing of restrictions. And as I said, stage 3 was looking at interstate leisure travel. And that is exactly what Queensland has done. And we are the first eastern state to open up our economy faster than New South Wales and faster than Victoria.
You had a very strong crack at the Prime Minister yesterday. Is that to suggest that you have felt pressured by him?
No, I said very clearly that I said my piece yesterday, but Queensland was unfortunately singled out constantly by senior federal ministers over a long period of time. That is extremely disappointing. Not Tasmania, not South Australia, occasionally Western Australia, but Queensland was singled out, and that is extremely disappointing. Now, Peter, I said my piece yesterday, and I'm going to leave it at that.
Why not say it earlier, though, Premier, than yesterday? Why not bring it up in National Cabinet?
I said my piece yesterday, and I have stayed silent for a long period of time. I said my piece yesterday, and I'll leave it at that.
The Prime Minister has since shot back, though. You know, he has said, why not open it up to Victoria? Because it's only a couple of hotspots there. Do you have a reaction to that?
Well, there's been something like, from memory, over 300 new cases in the past 8 days. Now, that's a concern. So my Chief Health Officer is concerned about it. I'm concerned about it. The other state and territories are concerned about it. Everyone is concerned about it. So we need to do everything we can to help Victoria. We've sent our Deputy Chief Health Officer, and we're calling for 30 nurses to go and assist as well. We're also undertaking some testing as well. It's in everyone's interests. It is in the nation's interest for Victoria to get on top of this. And that is why all of Australia, to my understanding, is helping Victoria out.
What do you make of Daniel Andrews' decision to shut down those hotspots, and would you do the same?
Well, that's a decision for him, and I think it's the right decision. And I think if that happened in any other parts of the nation, of course we would have to look at that. So, I mean, it's very concerning, and we need to throw all the resources at Victoria as we possibly can. And I wish them all the very best.
And would you hesitate in shutting your border again?
In relation to into what, Peter?
If there is an outbreak again, if there is outbreaks in Queensland, would you hesitate in shutting your borders from travellers from other states?
I'd have to get Chief Health Officer advice, but we've also said too that if the Chief Health Officer, it's actually on our roadmap, if the Chief Health Officer has concerns about any outbreaks in any other state or territory, that Queensland could take actions there as well. So we're very clear on that. We're very upfront.
Okay, so you could shut it down again, depending on the situation moving forward.
Well, hopefully we won't get to that because, I mean, every other state and territory is in a similar position to Queensland, which is why we've been able to open up to those other states and territories that are in a similar position to Queensland.
Okay, Queensland Premier Annastacia Palaszczuk, appreciate your time this morning. Thanks so much for joining us.
My pleasure. Thank you.